Hello everyone, I am Dr. Eric Morrison. This is 7 Under 3, and I'll be covering trading education using the TC2000 and TradingView platforms. Hello, this is the FOREX Week in Review with the 28 majors minors and 6 exotics. And I'm going to get started with a very good week this week. I went ahead and traded the COD index via the British pound, and out of 8 overall fades, I was profitable over 100% of them. Now, can you expect that to happen every time? Absolutely not. All right, so what you have to do is for the next following week is make sure that you have good risk management approaches to make sure that whatever you gain this week, you don't lose next week. And I've been getting a lot of good feedback from Crowded Market Report. If you're interested in joining that community, the link's in the description. So starting off with Aussie dollar, Swiss franc, and overall mixed positioning. We had this highlighted in purple. It was to the long side, and overall loss $134. Next one was Aussie dollar, Swiss franc. It was also a loss of $115, and looks to have competing upthrust and Wyckoff spring to the downside. So successful upthrust, but a failed spring. Interesting. In terms of consolidation, that can be problematic. One of the things that I want you to notice in terms of the overall COD index is that it seems to pick market turns very well and then follows it all the way down until it has exhausted itself. So that was interesting. It doesn't pick every turn. The overall turn was here picked. It went down a little bit and then went right up. So it's not an exact science, but it does have some indications, especially when you're up against a major moving average. I would say up against the actual Z3. Here it kind of drifted above it and didn't really go in that direction. Then it was at kind of the Z3 excursion here, and then it decided to bounce back up. But overall, these are weekly trades, so what I do is I generally tend to trade on Sunday and then close it out by either Monday or Friday. And these were all closed out. I closed them all out by Monday because I didn't know what was going to happen, and did very well on there. And it was a good thing I did too, because of the fact that the dollar started to bounce back on Thursday. So sometimes it's not good to hold your fades for a long period of time. If you get profitable, take it. And so I was back into a pretty good state, or zero state, where neither have greed nor fear, and just went ahead and faded my process here. So the next ones were Euro, British pound. That was long, fantastic fade to the upside. Had the COD index maxed out last week too as well, and did a phenomenal turn, and pretty good. Not off a major moving average or Z3, but did so nonetheless. And you never know what direction they're going to have, even if they have weak selling positioning or crowded long in this case. British pound, Aussie dollar, they were very strong. This kind of lagged a little bit, and as you can see, there's some consolidation going on. But by the end of Monday, when I closed this out, it closed on profit of $204. Same thing with British Canadian dollar. Now this is up against, getting pretty close up against the overall Z3 excursion here and the RL90, and went ahead and dropped for a nice profit of 474. British pound, Swiss franc, another one that was profitable. Again, 8 out of 8 British pound series were all profitable. This was 475. British pound, Japanese yen, very nice. Went ahead and bounced up against the Z3 excursion up here at the top, and then went up again. But overall profit on the drop is $547. British pound, New Zealand also dropped again, and then went right back up in this consolidation zone. It's $314 gain, taking a little while to populate. Same thing with British pound, US dollar. Nice overall drop. This was right up against the 200. This is a perfect place for an overall turn. So when you meet up against a major moving average or Z3 or whatever, and you get a COD index in the opposite direction, these are great overall fades. This was $432. And then with the British pound, South African rand, just been going down ever since it hit the RL90 and the Z3 excursion up here, and just keeps going down, showing overall weakness over the past 3 weeks. It was the biggest gainer of $676. So great overall fade. Tried to go back up and then came back down again. The last one, which I was a little confused on, was the Mexican peso. It had a COD index in the quote currency. It was maxed out pretty much. And then over here, it was also maxed out in selling, even though it was crowded short with strong buying positioning. And what you see here is an overall weakness to the short side. So I didn't take this overall trade, but it went down and it kept going down. This was $64 move here towards the end. So to sum up, in the overall trades, to include the ones that I didn't take, and I will be taking this week, was 11 overall fades, 9 wins, win rate of 82%. But the win rate isn't so important as to understand the overall market flow. And that's kind of key here, is to understand how these market turns happen. And the best person to understand how market turns actually happen is Jason Shapiro over on Crowded Market Report. So again, if you want to learn about the COT and the COT tables in depth, I would subscribe to Crowded Market Report. Learned a lot since I've been a part of that community. So looking at next week, Aussie dollar, Canadian dollar is green. Aussie dollar, Swiss franc is still purple. Aussie dollar, Japanese yen is purple. Aussie dollar, New Zealand is green. It has Wyckoff accumulation. There is no COD index, poised to go with a lot of strength. Aussie dollar, US dollar has a nice COD index to the upside. However, we have competing up thrust to the downside with a mix of a spring there. It's kind of conflicting signals there. A little bit of consolidation. CAD Swiss franc is still purple. CAD Japanese yen is still purple. Swiss franc Japanese yen is purple. The failed up thrust. Swiss franc South African rand, nice distribution to the downside for an overall short. It is crowded short. No COD index to the upside yet. Euro Aussie dollar, it is crowded long. However, we do have accumulation. Yeah, it went from accumulation, distribution, accumulation. There's a lot of consolidation happening in this consolidation zone right now. We'll see where it breaks out to. Same with the Euro Canadian dollar, crowded long, still in the green. Euro Swiss franc, same thing. Crowded long, still growing up week over week. Euro British pound is that you can see some overall COD indices to the upside as it's starting to form this bottom for a potential market turn. Euro Japanese yen, no signal, mainly to the upside. Euro New Zealand dollar, also momentum to the upside, still in this consolidation zone. Got a nice accumulation here from the Wyckoff. Euro US, still in the green, moving up, crowded long. These are all weak crowding though in terms of gold background. Moving to the downside for the past 3 weeks with an additional squeeze on the large and small speculators. British pound, Aussie dollar, consolidating but showing signs of a potential market turn here. Same with the British pound, Canadian dollar. Got this nice COD index for next week. Swiss franc, same thing. Potential market turn. Same thing with British pound, Japanese yen, and same thing with British pound, New Zealand. Very big consolidation zone here though. British pound, US dollar, same thing. The upside. If the US dollar shoots up, right, this overall currency pair will come down pretty fast and pretty hard. British pound, South African rand has already started its overall turn. New Zealand Canadian dollar has also started a turn, but no signal for this week other than the fact that we got the Wyckoff up thrust here to the downside. We do have the RL270 here. Could bounce up against that. New Zealand dollar, Swiss francs crowded long, however, still drifting lower after this initial COD index and overall market turn. Same with the New Zealand Japanese yen. Overall market turn, the downside. This is interesting, is that we had a market turn to the downside, but we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 to the upside. So even with this up thrust, there could be a potential for an overall reversal here, but we'll see. US Canadian dollar, again, conflicting. Wyckoff, failed up thrust, accumulation, strong background, kind of getting a squeezed pinch here. Could pop up to the upside. If the US dollar shoots up, this will pop up to the upside. Same with the US dollar, Swiss franc. So we got accumulation, pops up against the RL270 and the 200. This will pop up pretty nicely up there. It's kind of getting squeezed and pinched between the Dragon and the RL270, so we could see an overall pop here. US dollar, Japanese yen, it's overall mixed, mainly moved to the upside. That'll happen if the US dollar will And we got a nice J hook here to the upside. Still a continued weakness for the US dollar and Mexican peso. Even though the Mexican peso is weak, US dollar is weaker, which continues to move it to the downside, which is interesting. US dollar, South African rand had a failed up thrust here. Could be bouncing off the 0270 to do the upside if the US dollar goes up. And then South African rand, Japanese yen, mainly to the upside. Overall move within this consolidation zone. And a super pinch. Ooh, interesting. It's been a long super pinch here. I don't know where it's going to pop, but this could go explode in one direction or the other. We'll see. Well, if you like this video, hit the like rumble button below and the subscribe button. And if you want more information, click the course information links below. On the TradingView link and on TC2000, I have an affiliate link. If you open up a TC2000 account, you will receive a $25 discount using that link. Thank you for your time.